Hello guys, welcome. This is Deepika from mytutorialrack.com, and in this tutorial we are going to connect to the GitHub MCP server with the help of MCP.json file. We are going to put an access token for GitHub, and then we will be able to push all of our code changes that we want in our repository inside of GitHub. Okay. So the most important thing is we will go over to the cursor here, and under the settings, we will go to the tools and the MCP section. So click on that. And here we will go ahead and configure our MCP.json. And this is my GitHub MCP server that I'm configuring. The command I'm using is an npx command. And these are the arguments that I'm giving -y. And then here is my GitHub server. Okay, so this is my configuration to connect with the GitHub account, and this is my personal access token. So how do I get this personal access token? In order to retrieve this, you will go over to your GitHub, and on the top right hand side where you see this icon or a picture, click on that and go over to the settings. So here we'll go to the settings, and under the settings, scroll down and look for developer settings. Click on this developer settings, and we will create our personal access token. There are two types of tokens you can create: fine-grained tokens and the classic one. So we'll go ahead and create this particular token, and I'm going to go ahead and delete this old token that I have. So in order to avoid any kind of confusion, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this, and I will generate a new token here, and I'm going to use this classic option for general use. And this is repo scoped, and this one is for general. So I'm going to go ahead and make things simple. I'm going to use this classic one here, and use your password. I'm going to provide my password here and then confirm. And here I'm going to say cursor project 4 token. Okay, this is my just the name that I've given for me to remember. Expiration, I'm going to go ahead and give it 90 days. And here, scopes that define the access for personal token. So I'm going to go ahead and select all these scopes here just to keep things simple. So I don't want any kind of issues. So I'm going to go ahead and give all this access that I need: full control of organization hooks, create gist, notifications, user. I'm going to go ahead and select this, deletion of repo, all of these access I'm going to give. And then here, I'm going to go ahead and say generate token. Now, this is the token that is generated. I'm going to go ahead and copy this token here, and I will go over to my cursor and paste this token under this particular place where it says, and I've already attached this mcp.json. All you need to do is copy paste this token here and hit Control S. So now your GitHub tools should get enabled. Okay, and the way to test it is by running some prompts that you can go ahead and see if it's able to access your GitHub account using this personal access token. So let's say what are the different prompts you want to try. So the first prompt I want to try is this one: list down all the repositories I have. Okay, so if I go ahead and go over to my cursor, and here to the cursor I'm going to say list down all the repositories that I have. Okay, so here is my list on all the repositories. Now, since it knows which GitHub account I am connected to, and you can see based on this personal access tokens, and you can see the user is asking me to list all the repositories they have. Looking at the context, I can see there is an open file which might contain MCP configuration, Git repositories on the local machine. And let's see what. To list your GitHub repository, I can search your GitHub username. What's your GitHub username? Or I can search with a specific query. So it's not able to figure that out. Okay, so now what we can do here is we can go ahead and go back to the settings and go to tools and MCP. I'm going to disable this. Okay, and I'm going to enable this again. And now let's see, or we can also restart our cursor. So I'm going to go ahead and after I have updated my personal access token, it might take a few try. Now let me go ahead and close this GitHub cursor here, and then I'm going to go ahead and open it again. So I'm going to go ahead and right click on it and double click on it, and it'll open my cursor again. And now it finally has opened up my cursor. And now I'm going to go ahead and copy the same exact command. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say list down all the repositories that I have using the GitHub MCP server. Okay, so this is the that I have configured. So I'm going to update my prompt so it knows that, okay, look at this MCP.json file, use the MCP server, GitHub, and let's see if it's able to figure it out. So now it's reading the MCP. It's configured. Now it has going to go ahead and add GitHub to the allow list here. And now you can see this is your response. And these are all the repositories I have. So that is absolutely correct. Based on all the courses that I have created the repositories. So right now, these are the new latest one I have created. Then other ones I have it here. So these are total repositories that I have. Okay. Now, if I want to create a new repository, all I need to say is add a new repository in the GitHub account. Okay, so the prompt that I'm going to use next is create a new repository, and you give some name to that repository. Okay, so far how many we have? They have mentioned there are a total of 18 repository you have. And here I'm going to say create a new repository with the name cursor project 4. And this repository doesn't exist. So if you go ahead and go over we'll go here, and you can see here this cursor, you're only project 3, then you have project code 1. Now there is no cursor project 4. So here I'm asking cursor to create a new repository with the name cursor project 4. And we're going to go ahead and hit enter here. And now it is going to create a repository for us. And it is asking, it's using the MCP server, the GitHub MCP server. And I'm going to just go ahead and add that list here. And you can see this is the name. The parameter is now live, and you can see where it is available. This is the place it is available. And now if I go here and refresh it, you will see a cursor project 4 has been added as well. Okay, so this is my project number 4. There is no README file here. You can see there is nothing, README file is not there. And if you want to add a README file, you can add it. If you want to create an issue, pull request, you can do all that through your cursor, because now you have configured your GitHub MCP server inside of your cursor. So you have those tools available for you to work with. Okay, so this is it for this particular tutorial. I'm going to see you in the next video. Thank you.